Hey, we're Seaforth. We're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I'm hooked on your new single, but I'm still hooked on your debut EP, which like must be kind of scary to release such an incredible debut EP, like, and then knowing that you still have to write music after that, because like, like,
giving up now.
Yeah,
we put the 4 songs out. That was
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, we did our best work. We can't do anything else.
We'll retire anyway. Yeah.
Thanks. We appreciate that.
That means a lot. Wild thing that that came out like 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So much time has gone, so it definitely feels great to get something out though in that period, because I feel like we were just writing so much when we moved to Nashville, and that was just such a small piece of like the stuff that we'd worked on. So
yeah,
definitely feels good to kind of progress from that and get some new stuff out. But glad you like the first stuff, mate. Cheers.
No, definitely, I'm loving it. Tell me a little bit more about Talk About, which is like the most recent single. Like, what's that creative process between the two of you? I know you guys have spent pretty much your lives together, but like when you guys go into the studio, what's that chemistry like?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, man. Mitch and I are at the point, we've known each other since we were 3 years old. So at this point, we're essentially brothers, so we can kind of read each other pretty well, particularly like in the writing room and stuff. If someone's vibing on something, if we're in a write and Mitch is not digging it, we don't even really have to talk about it.
You immediately know.
No, it was cool, man. And I think when we get on something, we both know that it's really exciting too. And Talk About was one of those days where we had these melodies flowing around, and I remember we were all super excited. We wrote with our buddies Jordan Schmidt and Andy Albert here in town that are super talented, and we were all in the room getting excited, but we didn't have a concept, right? And we're just singing this thing. We had the melody, and we're like, "What's it saying?" That we don't know. And then we ended up looking up this like phrase generator based on syllables, and so it's like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 whatever, and we looked up 8-syllable phrases, and then there's just a list of like hundreds of them, right? And we're just
Tom had a dog, his name was Frank,
like it was like just random stuff. And we ended up, one of them said, "We've got a lot to talk about," and then we sang it, and we're like, "Oh, that sounds cool." Like it kind of just feels good to sing. And then we figured out how to kind of piece that together.
And wrote around it. Yeah, which is definitely the first time we've ever done that. It was weird, like just a weird experience, but hey, it changes every time. But it kind of just solved the problem for us, and then we wrote the concept around it.
How did that new process kind of help you guys or impact the way that you guys like write other material now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes if we ever get stuck, I mean, it's happened a couple times. We'll always like have a look in the room, like, because I feel like we always want to try and get like something that stands out and is a little different. So if we feel like we've kind of settled on a lyric and we're like, it's fine, sometimes that can just jog a few random things, because you just see a list of random words or sentences you wouldn't really say, and you're like, hang on a sec, that's kind of cool. We can spin that in a certain way. But it's usually just us vomiting so many melodies in the room, and we come up with most of the song like structurally, quarterly, melodically before we even think about a concept, and then we get the emotion out of whatever the melodies and everything entails there. So this was a good way to spark something a little different. But as soon as we got that, I think the song kind of wrote itself after that. But we were kind of struggling for a little bit. We're like, we have a song with no lyrics. So yeah, it was cool, man.
We were just going to start just hum the whole thing instead of say words initially. We was going,
or we do like Old Dominion and just say meow for the.
Do you guys usually like start a song with some kind of melody like that, or does it differ between every song? Like, what has been that most consistent process for you guys?
I think every song is definitely different. Every song kind of comes together differently, but for us, we're both very like melodic based writers, so we like to kind of know the solid melody going in. Like if we have like a chorus melody down and we know what we're singing melodically, then you kind of write the lyrics around it, because someone can come in with like this amazing title that is the best twist you've ever heard or like whatever, and you're like, cool, but like how do we like what are we actually singing, and so that's what's really amazing, because in Nashville there are so many incredible writers in general, but so many amazing lyricists too, and we've kind of found a really great crew of people that kind of bring out kind of as well, like lyrically. And once we kind of get on a roll, then it's better. But it's like,
I feel like we had to adapt to that songwriting style, because as you said over here, it's all like, they starts with the title. You walk in, you're like, I've got these titles, but we'd walk in and we're like, we've got these melodies.
Yeah.
Like we've got this kind of song, and sometimes like a lyric would pop out when we're singing gibberish like lyrics to write melodies. We'd be like, actually, that's cool, and we'd write around there. But it was a cool way to like mesh our worlds when we started writing out here and had to grow because it's so lyric heavy here. But I think it was great for us to learn, and it kind of comes together nicely. But yeah, consistently we pretty much write like we start like melodically and music first.
Yeah. And as you kind of mentioned, like the writing style is different in Nashville. What was it like back at home in Australia? Like how different was the writing style out there?
I mean, I don't even think we weren't really in a community back in Australia writing with other people. It was just, we would like, I had a little studio up in like a back shack at my house, essentially, or out of a bedroom. And we just, out of mud. Yeah. Just like
twigs and leaves.
Yeah. Very, very ancient.
Shack.
Yeah. But it would just be me and Tom working together on stuff. So we'd done it like a few collaborations here and there, but it was very sparse, like few and far between. But when we started coming out to Nashville on our first trip, we were writing with we were doing every day for like a couple months with new people. So that was something we had to like adapt to really quick. And the talent out here is such a high caliber. So we had to grow and get better very quickly. So it was very different because as I said, it was just me and Tom back in Oz working on stuff at home, and then now collaborating with everyone, like new people every day.
Now in the past, you guys have done your own projects. And when you guys came together to create Seaforth, like what was that development process like for the two of you? Like, especially when it comes to like doing harmonies, I feel like you guys mesh really good together, but I'm sure it wasn't like that in the beginning. So like what kind of struggles or like what kind of things did you have to go through during that development process?
I mean, physical abuse.
Yeah, a lot of fights. No, it's funny, man. Like you say, we were both kind of doing our own thing before we started making music together. We'd always been friends, and we'd then eventually start showing each other songs that we were writing and stuff. And I think we were both just fans of each other. And then we just kind of started writing together, and it clicked as soon as we wrote together. We were just like, this feels like there's more here than like each of us like separate, we kind of brought different things to the table. We had different strengths and it really complemented each other. So then it was honestly always pretty natural, man. Like we wrote our first song and sent it to some people we were working with at the time, and they it was just some people Mitch was working with, and they were like, this is like really, really good. Like you guys should keep doing this. So then we just kept writing, and like after we wrote like 3 songs, we were like, dude, this feels like something special. Like we should go to Nashville and do the whole thing. And it was like, we just kind of had our sights set on everything from the get-go, really.
Yeah. It was like the light bulb moment. Like we just hit the ground running immediately. We're like, this is what we were kind of searching for. I feel like maybe we were a little lost separately or just trying to figure it out. But yeah, as soon as we collaborated, it was like, dang, let's go.
So it was more of a leap of faith. It wasn't like you guys had this opportunity in the States to like kind of move out there.
We had no opportunity really. We just started coming out.
We were playing weddings back in Australia, like doing like 2 weddings a week plus like pub gigs and stuff, just saving up, and coming out here for 3 months and spending all the money, going back broke and doing it all over again.
That's the joy of it all.
Now
so for 2020, you guys have released 2 songs already. Everything Falls for You is the first release of 2020. Where does this music kind of fall as far as like a body of work? Just because I still feel like Love That is fairly recent of a debut, but like where does this new material like fall under as far as a body of work goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. This year obviously has kind of screwed a lot of things up for everyone, but we kind of had to rethink a strategy on how we release music because we didn't want to put too much out or too little out in a time where we didn't know how it was going to be received, and we're not on the road anymore. And that was kind of our main kind of like way to tell if people were vibing on songs and was giving us an indication on what we should put out. And obviously that all halted. So we first song out, and we had plans to release a lot more after that, but we kind of took a little step back with situations that were going on this year. And now we've got a plan from now, since Talk About, we're putting more music out the rest of the year and flowing into next year. And we're hoping to get hopefully an EP or album out next year, but we're still figuring it out. But man, we've got a lot of songs finished and ready to go. And we're just dying to get them out, but we just kind of had to figure out the best way to do that with the current climate and situation.
Right. How do you guys challenge each other in the studio, whether in the studio or like when you guys are writing music?
I pretty much just tell Mitch that every idea he has is terrible. I'm just like, nah, it's not it. He's like, this is, and I'm like, nah, it's not it.
Shit.
Yeah, shit. No, I don't know, man. I feel like we both, like you say, and you know, with the stuff that we've released and the stuff that we have coming out, like we're super proud of it, you know? And so I think for us, going into the writing room every day as the artist, you know, everyone wants to get the cut with the artist. Like if we walk in and we're like, oh, like, let's write a song for Kenny Chesney today, they're going to be like, well, you guys are like, you know, why, you know? So it's funny, but then I think with us, we just have like a high standard now because we know what we've put out and we know what we have. And I think it's just like, we are proud of certain things. So we just want to make sure that everything that, you know, and so it is a challenge because some
we just
days
battle ourselves.
Yeah.
We're like, we already said that, or it's not as good as what we wrote the other day. So it's tough.
Some days it's there, some days it's not. But I think it's like, that's the biggest challenge. I think it's like, and we both know that, and we're both pretty good about like, you know, we just want to write the best music we can all the time. I think we just challenge each other healthily.
We're always digging. We just had to get a slightly bigger shovel now. And I don't know,
Home Depot.
about it. Home Depot. Yeah, they got some good deals.
Good shovels now. Yeah.
As far as like writing the best music and kind of like stepping it up every time, like I feel like it's also difficult kind of finding your lane, especially because there's so much music nowadays. So, you know, what was that process like for you guys, kind of discovering your sound, and what was it about this sound that made you guys realize, you know what, this is what Seaforth is all about?
I mean, I think we have a slightly unique perspective coming from Australia and having such a different influence background, I think, than to people that grew up here, like a range from like all classic rock, obviously pop, and like and country that we got into a little bit later, growing up in Sydney where we did. So it all kind of meshed in a weird way where we're combining a lot of different things. So I think for us, again, like having the many years separate, figuring out our own stuff and kind of failing at that. But when we came together, it kind of, as we said, just was kind of natural. And I felt like we automatically just had this like slightly unique sound because everything we were putting together was different and a mix of so much stuff that we'd listened to growing up. And it's ever been evolving since moving out here. And I think we just have to continually like challenge ourselves and always make sure we're growing and not taking a step back. So it's just trying out new things, new sounds, instruments, listening to new music, and just kind of at the end of the day, just whatever we feel like we love. Like at the end of the day, when you get that feeling and you want to listen to the song over and over again for a week, you're like, I think we've stumbled on something good. And as soon as you get a few of those, we just keep collecting the ones that we know we love. And then hopefully everyone else does. And if not, then cheers.
Mitch is going to start crying again.
And then the tears come back.
With the Love That EP, like it's 4 songs that you guys released, but it's like 4 solid songs. That creative process for that, like I'm sure there was plenty more songs that you guys wrote for this EP, but like what was it about these particular 4 songs that you felt was, you know, the best way to kind of introduce the band to, you know, to the audience?
Yeah, well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think for us, like with the Love That EP, you had kind of 4 pretty different songs with like a sonic kind of quality that brought them all together, you know, and I think it was a good snapshot into like what we were doing, and it kind of covered 4 corners of our writing style, our music style. And you know, we've, you know, just tried to progress constantly, but I think that's like a good window into like, you know, we've got the mid-tempo, we got the up-tempo, then we got the kind of more like laid back, like, you know, talk to me like breezy thing and whatever. And so it's like for us, it just felt like a well-rounded kind of body of work to show people as like a taste of like, is, you know, what we're about.
And do you feel like there was like a drastic evolution in the way that you, like in your creative process now from that EP to now Talk About?
We're actually coming out with a K-pop album next.
Yes.
No, I mean,
that was my main question. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Here's the debut. We'll get it.
For sure, man. And I just think it's like, you know, with life and with everything, and there's so much music now to digest, you know, like every week they like, you know, with like all the different DSPs have their, you know, new music playlists and everything. And so it's just constantly flooded with new things that inspire you in different ways. And so I think it's like, you know, we've always, like Mitch touched on, it's like we've always just wanted to kind of have our own lane in country music while still, you know, remaining true to our influences in the genre and stuff. But I think it's like, it's important for us to you know, be ourselves. And
Yeah.
I think we have a unique upbringing and a unique kind of taste in music, and you know, we want that to come across in our music. So just kind of to continue to develop.
And I think
you know.
over the years now, and realizing, I mean, especially this year, we've started just to take a lot more on ourselves, like, and be a bit more self-sufficient. We set up a studio here. We've always like created the bones of it, but done a lot of collaboration and working with other producers. And I think as we move forward and grow, we're going to do a lot more kind of in-house and just work on it ourselves. Like as we've grown as writers and producers, like Tom's up there every day, like hasn't stepped out of the studio. And I think that
I haven't showered.
he hasn't showered yet. It's really tough to be this close to
something
him right now.
Something was starting to smell. I just didn't want to say anything.
The camera, it's pretty freaking rancid. But no, it's given us this opportunity just to be like, all right, free reign. If we want to get stuff going in this time, we just kind of got to do it out, like a lot of it ourselves here at home. So that's been fun, and I think that helps it be unique as well, like kind of creating everything here. But moving forward, I think we're going to do a lot of that and a lot of self-produced stuff, and obviously still collaborate, but just figuring out how to stay unique and grow.
Yeah. Now, lastly, for as far as Talk About goes, like, what do you guys feel was the biggest challenge in creating this song?
The title.
Yeah, no, man, I don't know. It all kind of came together really well. I think for us, we had a bit of trouble kind of landing on the final version of the product because we, you know, we believed in the song so much, and we loved, you know, where the demo sat.
Also wrote it 2 years
we
ago.
wrote it ages ago, but I think for us it was just like we knew the potential of how the song could and should sound. And I'm sure this makes sense, but like in your head, like, you know what you want to hear, and it's all about like trying to like vocalize that when, you know, it's in other people's hands and whatever else. And then we ended up getting there, but I think that was like a little, not challenge, but it just, we went kind of back and forth for a minute on that. But
we had ended up being three different mixes with 3 different engineers for us to be like, this is the one.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like for a second we almost were like, screw the song. We were like, we can't get it. Like, it's not right.
Dang.
Then we got the last mix back and we were like, oh no, shit. All right. We like it again. This is it. Which is tough when you live with like songs for so long, but we knew when we first wrote it, there was something special. So yeah, like you said, we just needed to get it to that stage. But yeah, I think all the post stuff was the toughest for us.
Do you know what was special about the song, or are you guys still trying to figure it out?
I don't know. I think it just got in our head. It's like, it's an earworm, and it makes you feel good, and it's got a good energy to it. And
when you live with a demo for like 2 years, you're so used to that, you get like demo-itis, right? Where you're used to hearing the demo, and then so like when it comes to the real thing, it's like harder to, you know, let go of that and understand that it's like a whole new
hear it as a new song
thing. Yeah.
Right.
But
I think we found it now. I mean, I'm super, super proud of it, and thank you for, you know, being so kind about it. But it's like, you know, hopefully people
react,
I guess,
the way we did.
Enjoy it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I loved it. I love the EP, and I need more music from you guys. So you guys better, you know, get back into the studio. Tom, you got work to do.
Straight back up.
Yeah,
might jump in the shower first. We got something coming, man. It's exciting. You know, finally we've got some kind of things on the way. So been
filmed a video clip for it last week.
Yeah, got some music videos and
nice.
Interesting. So look out for that one. I'm nervous to see it myself. I did a lot of great dancing.
Mitch punched me in the face in one of them.
Yep, actually did.
Well, definitely can't wait for that now.
Yeah, it's good. That great little left.
Great left. Like Tyson.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And you know, hopefully next time around that we get to do an interview, hopefully we can do this one in person.